Hello biology, this is the Cellular Transport worksheet packet, and this should be completed after you have done lesson 2.2. So if you have not completed lesson 2.2 yet, pause this video, go and do that first, take those notes because you're going to need them for this activity. All right, I'm assuming the rest of you have finished the notes, so let's take a look. We're going to go ahead and blow this up to 100% so we can see it well. And you'll notice this first page is a series of statements, and you are going to identify what category they fall into. So let's look at this first one, materials that move down a concentration gradient. If you remember, a concentration gradient is referring to two different amounts. So inside of a cell, we might have 5% sugar, and outside of the cell, we might have 20% sugar. Let's say it's the day after Halloween. You just had a bunch of candy. So naturally, that sugar is going to want to balance out those numbers. It's going to want to move into the cell so that we drop the numbers outside the cell and we raise the numbers inside until they are even. That is called passive because it takes no energy. And so we would check this off. Materials moving down a concentration gradient, or think down a hill from high up to low down. High concentration down to low concentration is passive. No energy is required. It naturally happens because your body's always trying to balance things. All right, so you're going to go through and identify those. In our next category or next part, you are going to look at the statement and identify what types of transport across the membrane this might be. So if it's moving water, well, that is a vocabulary word. Anybody know what it is? If you thought osmosis, you are correct because the movement of water is always referred to osmosis. Anything else that moves across the membrane is diffusion, but osmosis gets its, or I should say water gets its own term, osmosis, because it is so important in the body and helps regulate pretty much everything. So it's got its own category. Now, it could also be some of these other ones. I'm going to let you go figure that out, but some of these rows will have multiple check marks. Some may only have one. None should be blank though, so make sure every row has at least one check mark. And you have plenty of check marks here to keep dragging and dropping. All right, the last one, you are given a situation and you have to identify what kind of solution would have caused that situation. So let's do the first one together. Something causes a cell to shrivel. If you think of a cell as a water balloon and it's full of water, what would be the only thing that would make a water balloon shrivel? Well, if it got a hole, right, and the water balloon leaked out, that's exactly what's going to cause our cells to shrivel as well, if water is leaving the cell. Well, why would water want to leave a cell? The only reason that your cells will ever get rid of water is because something on the outside of the cell needs to be diluted or watered down. So let's take that example of the sugar in our cell versus on the outside. We have 5% sugar on the inside, we have 20% on the outside. Even though that cell needs the water is going to leave the cell to try and dilute that 20% and get it down to 5%. Not going to work, right? Because you need a whole lot more water than that. You just ate too much candy, which is also why you get thirsty after you eat a lot of candy. Side note there. But it's going to do it anyway. So it's going to try and move that water out of the cell to dilute that high sugar solution. If you remember, a solution that is too high is hypertonic. Makes sense when we're talking about sugar, huh? But it could be anything. It could be salt. It could be proteins. It could be pretty much anything. But we'll know that cell was in a hypertonic solution if the water is moving out. Remember, isotonic means equal and hypo means too low. So that means whatever's on the outside is lower than what's inside the cell. All right, hopefully that gets you going on that one. Look back for your notes for help with that as well. On page 2, this one is using a little bit more of your vocabulary for lesson 2.2. So you're going to use the vocab terms here to fill in numbers 1 through 4. In part 2, you're going to have to identify the type of transport that's happening. And I'll give you a hint. Look, we have water inside the cell. We have water outside the cell. Well, what's the only type of movement that features water? I'll let you fill that one in. If you don't remember, rewind this video for a little bit. Again, here's another example. We have a lot of something outside the cell and just a little inside the cell. We have the same situation here. We have more of something outside the cell than we do inside, but there's a tunnel that allows it to pass through. So even though these guys would not be able to leave because there's too many on the outside, it's going to want to go the other direction, this tunnel can pump stuff out. And so we can still pull those purple dots out, whatever they might be, and dump them outside the cell, even though you're moving from a low to a high concentration. That should have given you some hints there as well. All right, for this one, it looks like we're missing our question mark here. So this one, you're going to be matching the terms with the descriptions. And so for number 8, this is used in active transport, but is not in passive transport. So if we think at the most basic level, what's the difference between the two? Well, I said it earlier in the video. Active transport requires energy because it is moving something from a low concentration and pushing it up to a high concentration. So think same analogy of a hill. You're starting at the low point of the hill and you're pushing something up a hill. It takes energy, right? And that's the same thing that we're seeing here, but I'll tell you, active is not the word you want right here. But this is the same example we're seeing. We have these two and they need to be pushed out outside the cell. And you're going to go ahead and fill in the rest of the letters. There are no repeats, so you should use each letter only once. All right, that walks you through these worksheets. Please contact me if you have any questions or need any help.